Week 12 of the fantasy football season. Here's a few running backs I have as sleepers this week. The first back, Amir Abdullah of the Vegas Raiders. So right now, Alexander Mattison banged up, Zamir White banged up. But regardless, Amir Abdullah, we know he's the passing downs back for the most part. And this is going to be a ball game most likely where they're going to have a tough time running the football versus the Denver Broncos in Week 12. So the last few weeks for Abdullah, Week 9 at Cincinnati, 4 carries, 12 yards, 3 catches, 14 yards. And Week 11 at the Dolphins, a carry, 1 rush yards, 3 catches, 16 yards, and a touchdown. So like I said, this is going to be a tougher matchup versus Denver. And if White and Madison both playing this game, I still think Abdullah is going to see the field. Like I said, he's a passing down back, and Gardner Minshew likes those dump offs to his running backs his time. So this week, I think Amir Abdullah is going to get some playing time in this ball game. And if you need a deep sleeper, he's out there 98% of fantasy leagues. Next running back, Cam Akers of the Minnesota Vikings. So Cam Akers, I've mentioned him a lot over the last few weeks, and he's definitely getting more work in this offense with this Minnesota Viking team. With Aaron Jones, I think they're trying to keep him refreshed a little bit and rest him and not give him a full workload to keep him healthier for the end of the season and towards the playoff push. In the last few weeks, we've seen it since they acquired Akers from the Houston Texans. Week 9 versus the Colts, 6 carries, 46 yards, 2 catches, 7 yards. Week 10 at the Jaguars, 13 carries, 38 yards, a catch, 9 yards. And Week 11 at the Titans, 10 carries, 25 yards, 2 catches, 11 yards, and a touchdown. So this week, I think Cam Akers, he could go out there, get a decent workload once again, 10, 12 touches. And if he plops into the end zone, he could have another decent ball game like he did last week. And like I said, Aaron Jones, he's not getting anywhere close. 22 to 30 touches per game is Aaron Jones, where they're trying to keep him, like I said, upright and healthy the next few weeks towards the playoff push. So Cam Akers this week a sleeper, and he's available in 79% of fantasy leagues. And the third and final back I have as a sleeper is Roschon Johnson of the Chicago Bears. So obviously, Khalil Herbert got dealt a few weeks ago to the Cincinnati Bengals. Johnson easily the backup running back now for the Chicago Bear team, and he's been getting some goal line work all season long is Johnson. But the only thing, obviously, the games they've been trailing, he's not really seeing the field, even though he's been a pretty decent receiver out of the backfield throughout his career. Even though we know DeAndre Swift is a full 3-down back as well, except at the goal line, they like the bigger bruiser in Johnson. So the last few games, Week 9 at Arizona, 3 carries, 13 yards, 2 catches, 8 yards. Week 10 versus the Pats, a carry, -4 yards, a catch, 5 yards. And Week 11 versus the Packers, 10 carries, 33 yards, a touchdown, a catch, 8 yards. So this could be a close game, I believe, between the division rivals in the NFC North, where I think Roschon Johnson could get a decent workload. And he's another guy, if he's going to get goal line looks and he gets, let's say, 40, 50 total yards, that's not a bad day for a low-end back two or a flex option. So Johnson out there in 82% of fantasy leagues, and I think he's a sleeper option this week. So that's a few running backs I have as sleepers for Week 12 of the fantasy football season.